Okay, today it's all about saving a little bit of money. The way I save a little bit of money, especially with bearings. I know a lot of people have maybe bought these type of bearings or seal bearings and pretty much just threw them away because they wasn't it wasn't working right. They had some sound that came out of them, maybe some roughness, and how I repack these and save a little bit of money. So, and then also what type of solution I use to clean them with, and also what type of grease I use, and a little bit about the bearings, what type of bearings, what I use them for. Okay, give me a second, I'll get you guys a close up, and we'll get started. Things I like doing is, of course, I've messed around and started packing these inside the guy. I'll just go ahead and make a video on it, and to show you guys. Now, these ones here came in a 6-pack. Bought them off of eBay for about around $20. These ones here, and then of course, I buy all kind of bearings for different types of projects. This one here, these ones are for the sawmill, and these are all new. And I bought these ones here because I had to replace some. Well, the bearings go here. This is the wheel, the little wheel that actually holds the blade on for the sawmill, and they'll go bad because there's no fittings in here. There's no way to actually pack this or keep putting grease in it. I sure like to change that sometime. But right now, it's I got an extra one here, and I got new bearings in it. But I've also took the old bearings that I had inside of here, and I done them already and stuck them up there with the sawmill right now. Now I have some smaller bearings right here. As you can see, this is a small one, and this one here has actually got a metal thing on it right here. So the cap's metal on this one, and these ones here are rubber around this here. Let's go ahead. I'm not gonna pull one of these out. I like to go ahead and I'll show you with one of these new ones. I don't have an old one, but I could take this and just use one of these here. It'd be fine. Now, if your bearings are they're kind of hard to turn like this, you know what I'm saying? So they actually need to be repacked or cleaned. And I like doing is I like to just find an old coffee container like this, and I put a little bit of thinner in it, and then mess around a little bit to try to get it clean. Now the tool for this is a little set of pick tools here. I've had these for a long time. They really did well. It's got 4 little picks in it. It's got an angle. Each one of them have a different angle, and of course a little handle on the end of it. You can pick these up pretty much anywhere. And my favorite one is, of course, the one that's bent like this right here. And let me go ahead and screw the handle on it. This makes a really nice set of tools. I mean, for just practically anything. And okay, let's go ahead and get started. What I have here is some of the bearings that's a little bit different. Each one of them's a little bit different. I have these bearings here, okay, this size here, and then I also have a smaller size. Of course, bearings come in all different sizes, so I mean, it depends on what project you're using it for, or what it goes for. What it goes for. Car bearings or bearings like this. Now these are steel bearings. So what they do in the factory, they'll take these bearings and they'll pack them. They'll pack grease in them, and that's just as fine. I mean, there's not a problem with it because you can get some wear out of them for a little while, and then eventually, you can't. There's no way actually putting grease in unless you remove this seal right here. But they pack them, and sometimes some of these bearings come in and don't have enough grease. I don't know if they do it on purpose or what, but for sure the companies there's a certain amount of grease they put inside of these. And so sometimes I like checking them before I use them. That way I can get more wear out of these. And also, if I get an old bearing like this here, now I've removed the cap on this one here. This is a little metal cap on it instead of a rubber cap. It's got a little metal cap on it. And I've already moved the cap so I can see what's inside of it. But if you look inside, you can see it's pretty dirty inside of there. So this bearing is going to need clean for sure. And when I like cleaning them, I just use a little bit of thinner, and inside of maybe an old coffee container like this. They work really nice, little plastic like this. You can use around the house, if you save them. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and throw some thinner inside of this and put on a pair of gloves so I can go ahead and start this. And you don't need much, just a little bit, you know, well, whatever you want to put in it, but I don't use too much of it. I use just what I'm going to use to clean it with. And then get me a glove on here. Now, this little bearing here, I'm going to use it again. I've already packed this one here, and it's going to do well for a little bit longer. So if you just take it kind of, you know, I don't know if you probably can't see it, but I'm doing swishing it around in the water down here, and just keep doing it, keep doing it. It'll clean it. It'll eventually clean it. And then if you want, you can take this and maybe turn the bearing a little bit back and forth like this, and you'll feel it. It'll start getting loose, you know, where it's starting to break loose. Then put it back down in it again and keep doing it. Just kind of stir it out, swish it around inside there like that. Then you do it again, you know. And what I'm doing is, like you can see now, I don't know if you can really see, but inside that bearing is starting to get cleaner. So let's go do it again. And there you go. Now that's pretty good. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot in that bearing. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse than that. But you can hear it's moving now. It's moving nice and freely. Run it on my hand a little bit like that. Okay, maybe a little bit more. I think thinner does very well. And I'm, like I said, I'm just getting it cleaned up, and then we'll set this container back over here, and then just go ahead and wipe this bearing off. It's pretty well cleaned down. It doesn't take much. You can tell, you know, how it's going to spin. And what we're going to do is we're going to pack this little guy, and then we're going to put that cap back on, and we're going to make these bearings reusable again. And like I said, it's not busted up, so I'm going to get some wear out of it. All right, let me stick another glove on. Now, you know, you can use any type of grease you want. I like to use some Axle grease. They make this general purpose grease. Some people, you can pick them up pretty cheap, maybe $2-3 or something like that. But you might have it around the house. You can use this, but I like using the best I can get, close to the best I can. Something that's you know, a lot heavier. Now, the grease I'm going to be using on it is bearing grease, so that's, you know, for automobiles. So you're going to get a lot of wear and a lot of friction off the bearing. So it's going to, this is going to last a little longer. So what I do, I take a little bit of grease and just put it in the palm of my hand right here, and then I'll take that bearing and the open side of it, and it's just kind of, you know, squish it in like this. See what I'm saying? And what that's going to do, it's going to pack that bearing. You can see in that bearing how it's starting to pack inside that bearing. There we go. Now, I know packing it's probably the greatest thing is put as much as you can, but I think that's maybe not the right way to doing it. The way I like doing it is I'll pack it like this, you know what I'm saying, and then I always like just to run it back in through and take a little bit of it out. Now, the reason why I feel, I mean, it might not be the right way, but it's the way I do it. And the reason why I like doing that way, because I'm afraid that if I put too much grease inside these bearings, it's going to, you know, work its way and shove the grease back out, and also the cap, you know what I mean, the caps. And I don't want to do that. It's always good to have a rag around. Wipe my gloves off too. So, I got this one here packed and everything. So what I need to do now is, let me take these gloves back off. I'm trying to save them here. I can also use them again. I'm going to show you the next bearing. And then take this little metal seal and just make sure you straighten it up a little bit. There's some writing on the top of some of those. I don't know if you can see them. But that's the way you want it facing up, with the writing facing up. And then just take your finger, hold down on it, and you can clip that right back in there. Just Take your time, work around it, and it'll go right back down in there. You hear it going down in there. Put a little force on it here. There you go. There's another one. Another one. Okay. Now just wipe that bearing off. And there you go. Now, this is right now. I just got to work it just a little bit because it's going to be a little. There you go. There you go. Just getting that grease around them bearings inside them little ball bearings in it. Now I'm going to be able to use this one here again, so I'm going to get more wear out of this bearing. Now, if you take a look at these ones here. These ones are sealed also, and but they have a black rubber seal inside of these. Now, don't get me wrong, you can do the same thing with these as the metal ones. Of course, these are going to be a lot easier. I'm not going to pack this one, but we can do this in here. We're going to take a look inside. So if you got this little pick ready, just grab a hold of it right here a little bit, and then maybe just one more. Okay, that way it'll keep you from bending that seal. And then, like I said, there's writing on top of here. Not on the ball in half, so you want to make sure you put it back down in the right way. Now, this is a bearing that they have grease inside of this bearing here. So this bearing is actually, it's packed up pretty good. You know, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Let me see if I can find another one here. And then we'll take a look inside of another one here. Just grab a hold of it just real lightly. It'll come out. There it goes. Grab it maybe from this end. There. Okay, so you see the difference in this bearing and this packed, and then you take a look at that bearing. Now these are brand new bearings. Okay, now there's not much grease in them bearings at all. This one here, you can see it. I mean, it's very little grease, and like I said, it's a brand new bearing. So you might want to check them. You know, if you want to get some wear out of your bearings, you might want to check out and make sure there's plenty of grease in there. Like I said, these are brand new. I just took them out of the package right there. All right, let me put the gloves back on. And like I said, that comes from the factory like that. I mean, to me, you know, there's just not enough in there that bearing's going to last very long. And go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing and put a little grease on the palm of my hand. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab a hold of it like this and just keep doing it. It'll go down in there. It'll go clear down into the other side of that bearing. Maybe a little bit more. Then, like I said, I still like to make sure there's not a whole lot of grease in there, but a lot of, you know, enough grease in it that it's going to perform pretty well. So you could take just a little bit of it back out, and then put the lid back on this grease. Okay, now clean this bearing up just a little bit so I can touch it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the seal back on this one, and like I said, make sure it's turned up the right way, and then just kind of press it a little bit like that. Okay, and then let me go ahead and get this in here. I don't want to bend that seal. Put it back in here like this. Okay, there you go. You got two really nice packed bearings, and it's going to last a lot longer. But like I said, I do advise you not to put a whole lot of grease in these. For my knowledge, what I've done, you don't want it to be coming back out because there's too much in there. You know. Okay, well there you go. Packing bearings, even new bearings, even old bearings. So it doesn't matter if they're old, they're new. Just double check them to make sure you got enough grease inside of them to get the life out of your bearings. So, okay, thanks for watching.